Good day and welcome to this edition of Newsmakers, a program from the Rock County Civics Academy, where we bring into our studio for an upfront and personal conversation people who make the news, in particular people whose decisions shape the very quality of life that we all hope to enjoy here in our great community of Janesville, Wisconsin. Joining me in the JATV studio today is Heather Miller, member of the Janesville City Council. Heather, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you aboard. You have been a member of the council now for 3 years?
Longer than that.
Has it been?
Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4. This
Two
will
terms.
be year 5.
This will be year 2
Yes.
terms and then some. What
Yes.
keeps bringing you back?
I'm a glutton for punishment.
Indeed.
I think it's really important to keep people informed. I think it's really important that the community be involved in decision making because it affects everybody the same way. We live in a wonderful city. We want to keep it that way. We want to have input and growth. You know, it's all in the best interest of everyone here.
It's always a challenge, and it's a complex office. In the 5 years now that you've been there, is it safe to say that perhaps the first year or two were learning years, and maybe then some? What specific steps have you taken, both before you ran the first time and you continue to take, to understand the mechanics of the office and to have a real grasp of the legal and fiscal limitations of what you do? Where are you at in that learning curve?
Well, I've seen 3 city managers, so there's that. That's a learning curve in and of itself. We saw Mr. Freitag, and then we had an interim of Dave Moore, and then we have now Kevin Lehner. So 3 different perspectives on how to manage the city, very different perspectives, and I shall add. The first year, you're really sort of going in blind, I think. I think you have an unreasonable expectation of what you can accomplish, and that was a learning curve because here I thought I was going to fix everything and give my opinion and, this is just going to work. And at the end of the day, people don't realize how little power you actually have. And the responsibility can be great, but it's not consistent. It's a point where you make some of the tough decisions, but you don't always have the opportunity to make decisions, if that makes any sense.
It does, and it doesn't. Let's pursue it a little bit. It sometimes comes down to something that is very simple. It's the rule of 4. On a council with 7 people, you need to have 4 people in the majority in order to make a decision to move forward on any particular issue.
Yes.
How do you build consensus with your fellow council members on policy issues of importance to the community? Or, frankly, do you try to build consensus?
Well, it's tricky because there are state laws that prevent a walking quorum, if you will. You really don't have much opportunity to sit with your fellow council members and have conversations because it's not allowed unless you're in a public forum, and then everybody's listening, everybody's watching, or everybody wants to have a say too. And so when you have an idea, your best bet is to go to one, have a conversation. This is what I'd like to see. This is what I'd like to change. This is what I'd like to present. And if they're in favor, that's what will get you on the agenda. And from there, you're basically selling it to the rest of the council.
Do you consistently go to the same person all the time, or
No.
do you try and shop the idea around with the other 6 members of the council?
Well, a lot of times it's better to shop. I mean, I don't want to say shop. Shop means, you're picking and choosing where it would go. I think it's important to get different perspectives. I tend to go a lot of times to an individual that I know will be my adversary, that will give me the what ifs, that will give me the devil's advocate, if you will. And so they bring to the table things that I may not have thought of, which is nice. It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, but I need to hear it.
Sure.
But yeah, it just depends. I know that certain folks are more conservation oriented, and so if it's something along those lines, I would go to that person. So it's just a matter of, what it is that I'm bringing and who would be a best fit.
Okay. Who or what has been the greatest influence over your priorities now that you're in office? And how can constituents verify that you're still working for them and not for somebody else?
Oh, I have to say, to date, probably my greatest influence would be Dave Moore. And I say that because Dave Moore taught me to have grace. And as much as I want to be that hard-driving, very matter-of-fact person, and I want to get the facts, and I want to know the details, and I want to move forward with whatever it is, Dave Moore taught me to have grace, because you can't always expect people to jump. You can't always expect things to happen yesterday. And that's a learning curve for me, because I want it done.
Well, it takes me to this angle. How do you respond to organized public dissent or criticism of your positions you take on issues, and, well, especially when it comes to informed, active community groups that have taken a stand one way or the other? How do you deal with that?
You're not going to make everybody happy. I'm one person supposed to represent 65,000 people. And I see things from a little bit different perspective. I live on the south side. I know that public assistance and community action in Janesville has been lacking on the south side for a lot of years. And so that is a little bit close to home. And so I definitely feel like I'm an advocate for that area specifically. Between the west and the south side, there's definitely a little bit of love that's been lost along the last 20 plus years. And so I do have a little more affection when things come up on the south side. But you have to remember that you are representing the city as a whole. You have to get different walks of life perspective. And I appreciate people that reach out, because how else are you going to know? You sit in your little office, or you sit in your home, and if you don't reach out and you don't communicate with your community members, then you're really not doing a service.
Can you walk me through maybe the most difficult decision or trade-off that you've had to make in your time in office, and what does that reveal about how you hope to govern?
Ooh. Well, if you know my track record, there's been a lot of them. One of the most difficult was, there's been several. Probably the JATV issue. When that came to us as a transfer of interest, or a transfer of how JATV was going to move forward. And I felt like everything that had been put in place by previous councils was dismissed. And it concerned me, not just for the fact that, here you're changing a policy, but you're also looking at a previous council decision that was overlooked. And I don't, as much as I heard that we are within state guidelines to do this, and improve JATV, as it was put to me, I was asked many times, why can't you just be supportive? And it's because policy and procedure that's in place needs to be followed. If you don't have a policy or a procedure, hey, do what you want to do, but we did. And I don't think it was followed in quite the way it was intended. But again, as you spoke of the power of 4, that's what makes things happen when you have a 7-person council.
Yeah. Would you label this an activist council or a status quo council?
This is going to get me in trouble, you know that. I would tend to say we're more of a status quo. I think things that come up are intentional, and I've heard so often that we're moving Janesville forward. If we're not moving forward, then we're standing still, and that's stagnant, and we don't want that. But we have to be mindful of appropriate growth and growth moving forward that is beneficial for us as a community, not just to keep moving.
Would you support forming citizen advisory boards, participatory planning committees, or other co-governance models to help shape public policy as we go forward?
I would love that.
And how do you undertake selling enough of a majority to make it a reality in Janesville?
Well, I have tried in recent months to make that happen. I have tried to maneuver within the council to create an active group to help formulate some ideas, create some buzz about the GM site, the GM site. And Centennial Park is one of the largest that we've ever undertaken as a city, which is the most crucial for having a group that's willing to participate and actively be part of the decision-making process. And I've been told that I need to stay in my lane. It's not my time yet. It's not that time. And so when you're on an island, so it seems, and you don't have the power of 4, here you are, and you're waiting.
Well, in the very, very brief amount of time we have left, what mechanisms do you believe work best to keep your constituents informed and involved between elections? And how do you explain to them the ups and the downs of being a member of the council?
Well, for one, talk is cheap. You have to walk the walk. You can tell everybody I'm approachable and you can always reach out. But if you are not communicating, if you're not present, if you're not showing up and doing the work and preparing yourself for meetings, that includes a little research sometimes. If you're not doing your due diligence, you're really not representing anybody but yourself. For those going forward, I absolutely recommend that people take advantage of running for office. You say you can't, you don't have time. But make time for what's important. If
not you, who? And if not now, when? Those are words to live by. Heather Miller, thank you. Always a pleasure to get an opportunity to sit down and say hello again. Thank you
so much.
That's going to be a wrap on this session of Newsmakers from the Rock County Civics Academy. It's our opportunity to bring people who shape our life, our quality of life in Janesville, to the table to get to know them up close and personal. Have a great day.